Good morning, Grade 8s, and welcome back to WorksheetCloud. This is Grade 8 English. I'm Mrs. Goslet, and I hope that you enjoyed yesterday's lesson on creative writing or essay writing. I hope that you did the practice and that you showed your parents your good piece of work. If you have a question during the lesson, again, send an email to grade8@worksheetcloud.com. What you will need for today's lesson is a piece of paper and a pen, or you can grab your notebook. As I said yesterday, we looked at essay writing, and today's lesson is going to be on transactional writing. Now, in June and November, you write an exam called Paper 3, Creative Writing. The essay counts 20, and the transactional writing counts 10. So in total, your paper is 30 marks. But now when you get older, grade 10, 11, and 12, that paper is 100 marks. So yes, in grade 8 and grade 9, it might be a small aspect of your exams, but you're working towards 100-mark paper. So it's important that you get these things right from the beginning. And then when you get to grade 10, 11, and 12, you know everything. We're going to look at a dialogue, newspaper article, informal letter, and a diary entry. Now you get lots of other transactional writing pieces. You get reviews, you get a formal letter, we're doing the informal letter, you get a speech, but we're just going to look at these few for today. The word count is 140 to 160. Now in grade 8, you only have to choose one. Grade 8 and grade 9, so you're very lucky. The seniors, the grade 10, 11, and 12s, they have to write 2, so they have to know 2 formats really well. And we're going to look at format, which is very important, and content, which is as equally important. Let's get into it. Now, dialogue is a conversation between two people. They sometimes try and trick you, or you fall into the trap where the topic says you are arguing with a parent, or you are arguing with one of your parents. It has to be one. You can choose if it's mom or dad. It doesn't matter. You're making it up. But a dialogue is always two people. If you have to bring in a third person, they have to be minor. But I want to ask you to try and stay away from that third person, because you will lose marks in format. Because as you see here, it's a conversation between two people. Only if your sister has something very important to quickly say. But if you're talking about mom, dad, me, mom, dad, me, mom, dad, me, you're going to lose marks. Also, don't write me, you must write your name. Write the names of the characters on the left-hand side of the page. We're going to look at an example, and this is very important. Use a colon after the name of the character who is speaking, and then use a new line. So you must leave a line after to indicate a new speaker. So here's an example. So you start off with your introductory statement, and in that you are telling me who, what, and where. That's it. So all you need to do is introduce who is having an argument, normally an argument, or a conversation, what they're talking about, and where they are. That's it. So this creates immediacy into the topic. There's nothing worse than getting a dialogue, and you can see the learner is just trying to make a word count. They go, hello, hi, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. What did you do today? Nothing. Where are you going? See, that takes too long to get into the topic. You should just get straight into it. Get into the whatever your topic is about. because the more content you have, the better mark you're going to get. It's difficult for me to mark somebody who's just one line saying, hello, hi, how are you? That is just, for me, trying to waste and waffle and trying to make up that word count. Mia and Josh, so that's the who, have not completed a task given to them by their teacher. That's the what. Okay, and now where they're at school, they are contemplating bunking the class. So Josh says, good morning, Mia. Mia. Now we use this if I cannot identify or understand in this sentence that Mia is frowning. If Mia is upset, she's going to say, I am upset. Then you don't need to add it there. Okay. And it's very important that it's after. And please make sure this is all in line. And here you can see you've left a line. There is nothing good about this morning, Josh says. If it is about the writing task we are expected to submit today, then you're not alone. You know what? I do not have to know anything. I know what that look means. Do you know me that well, my friend? You know what they're going to say about desperate measures. Why don't we bunk the English lesson? Bunk classes? My answer is an emphatic no. Do you see how the vocab is very good? There's no slang. It is informal because you're not going to talk to your friend, good day, sir. How art thou? We're not going to speak like that to our friends, but we're going to stay away from what's up, hey brew, sup my brother, because that's going to take us down a category on the rubric for language. So you need to keep it informal language. And show me that you know that you have a good vocabulary. Look at this emphatic no. So Josh doesn't want to hear Mia. He doesn't want to bunk class. So that's an example of a dialogue. This is a short snippet, so you must obviously write 140 to 160 words. The more content, the better the content, the higher your mark is going to be. And this format is excellent, so you have to get a high mark for your format. Newspaper article. So a typical newspaper article contains 5 parts, and we're going to look at them. We have the headline. The headline, this is a short, attention-getting statement about the event. I always remember driving on my way to work, to school. I'll always see an article, not an article, this headline on a lamppost. And I always want to know more. I just Google News 24 and I look at the news article. And most of the time it's a little disappointing. They make it sound so dramatic so that you go and buy the newspaper. You want to read that specific article. And then maybe it's not as juicy as you thought it would be because that headline catches your attention. The byline, this tells who wrote the story, and if the person wants to remain anonymous, they can also do that. So the lead paragraph, this has all the who, what, when, where, why, and how. So this tells us all the factual information that we need to know. Explanation. After the lead paragraph has been written, the writer must decide what other facts or details that they want to include in this article. So the writer must make sure that they have enough information to answer any important questions a reader might have after reading it. So that's quite important. This section can also include direct quotes from witnesses or bystanders. So this adds credibility to your article. Somebody will talk about their experience or what they saw. Then we have additional information. This information is the least important. Thus, if the news article is too long, for the space it needs to fill, it can be shortened without rewriting any other part. We're going to have a look at a newspaper article. Not great quality, I apologize for that. So this was just coming from, I think, last year's Cape Times, and this was talking about our drought. Water drill risks poisoning the wells. So there's our headline, and it's not very clear, but you can see that this newspaper article has a catchy title. There's a subheading, City's Desperate Measure Could Turn into an Eco-Disaster. And this also grabs our attention. We want to read more. I don't want to have my well poisoned. I want to be able to drink water that's clean. I don't want it to have an eco-disaster. We obviously cannot see this, but the paragraphs are indicated where there's this indentation or there's this space here. So this is the first paragraph. So you don't leave a line open. You carry on underneath, but you just move the lettering a little bit inside. So it's very factual. It's not biased or prejudiced. It's just stating what happened. Now we also get, in transactional writing, a magazine article. So I've just grabbed this magazine, and a magazine article is less strict. So it's informal language, where a newspaper article, you have to write formally. You must have facts, evidence, all of that. But a magazine article can be humorous. It can be informative. And sometimes in tests or exams, they ask you to write a magazine article giving tips on how to survive exams or exam tips or something like that. Then you give your opinion. Whereas a newspaper article, you can't give your opinion. You just must report what happened and what the news is. Yeah, so that's a newspaper article. Let's look at an informal letter. Now, we don't write letters anymore. I don't think you have. But there's nothing better than going to your post box, opening your post box, and seeing a letter from someone you know. And you open it, and you read whatever this person has to say. It's so exciting. And it's a lot of fun to do as well, to post something, to get a stamp, to stick it on, write the address in front, you put it in the mail box, and then someone receives it. I think it's very exciting. An informal letter, you always have your address on the right-hand side. And you start with your street. I've just made up an address. Mine would be a little bit more complex because I live in a complex. So mine would have the actual room or the flat number. So let's say E5, and then it would have the name of the complex. Then I would only do my street. Then I'd do my suburb, so same thing. Okay. So here's my suburb, Vredekliff, Stellenberg, wherever you live, Durbanville. Then you have your code, 7550, and then a lot of you forget the date. So it's important to write when was this letter written. Okay, so you just write the date there. Then you start off. I apologize for going a bit soon there. You start with Dear Mom. So whoever you're writing to, you're going to say, Dear Mom, Dear Peyton, or Dear Mark, whoever you're talking to. Then you leave a line, and then you do your introduction. So you talk to them or you write about what this letter's about. I'm not too sure why learners do this, but try to just stay away from it. You tend to not really know how to start it, so you all go, not all of you, I am writing this letter. Now, if I have to mark 40 or however many letters, and they all start with, I'm writing this letter. Firstly, you're stating the obvious. If I've received a letter, I know you've written the letter. So rather just if you find yourself writing it, when you edit it, just scratch it out. And then see what you've said after that, and just start with that. And don't say, "Hi, Mom. Hey, how's it going?" Remember, we want to do well, so we keep it informal. Get away from the colloquial, the slang. Then we need the body. Now, body can be, and I've got here, 2 to 3 paragraphs. So you're going to give details. Maybe you're at boarding school and you want to just tell them about how grade 8 has gone so far. So you give them interesting details, content. Then you leave another line. That's what my X's are for. They're not hearts and kisses. Then you have your conclusion. So sum up what you want to say, or just wrap it up. Say you can't wait to see them for Easter holiday, or you can't wait for them to come visit you, something like that. Then you must always end off capital and then a small. Yours sincerely. Now, an informal letter always ends with yours sincerely. But now, if you're writing to your mom, you can write your daughter. If you're writing to a friend, you can also say your friend, because you know each other. Yours sincerely is just more of a formal way, but you can also write that. That's very acceptable. Now, we don't write our surnames because your mom knows who you are. So you're just going to write your daughter, Madison. You don't need to write Madison Goslet because, as I say, you know each other. In a formal letter, it's completely different. There, the person doesn't know who you are, so you have to leave all your details or your full name. So there's a picture of letters. I'm sure you've written your friends a letter, but it's so exciting to just write down your thoughts. Sometimes it's difficult to express to our friends how we feel. Not all of us will say how we appreciate and love them on a day-to-day basis. I find that I'm really appreciating all my relationships and my friendships, especially during lockdown. And we just forget to say something because you don't hang out and go, "Oh, you're just the best friend ever." If you do, that's great. But show our friends a little bit of appreciation and write them a letter. If I receive a letter, I feel so loved, and it's just so thoughtful that somebody took their time to write down their thoughts. I don't know about boys. I like, I don't know. Letters are very old-fashioned. So in the olden days, when the men used to go to war, or even women, then they would write them letters. Now, a Dear John letter was actually a letter being written to break up with somebody. And the reason why they call it a Dear John letter is because at that time, John was just a very common or well-known name. The female version, I think, is Dear Jane. So they would write these letters to break up with them. And I know I said I wouldn't sing, but I'll sing one more time for you guys, and then I'll be done with it. I won't do it again. So Taylor Swift dated John Mayer, and she wrote a song about him, and it goes like this. Dear John, I see it all now that you're gone. Don't you think I was too young to be messed with? The girl in the dress cried the whole way home. So she wrote a love letter. No, I don't think it's a love letter, but she definitely exposed him to the world. A diary entry. Now, this is a very easy transactional piece because, as you can see, The format is very simple. All we need is a day, Monday. It's important that you write that. And then the date. I don't even know what date it is, so this is probably totally wrong. But it's okay. And you start with, Dear Diary. Now be careful, because when you say Dear Diary, you almost start talking to the diary as if it's real. And you must stay away from that. All a Dear Diary or diary entry is, you are expressing your thoughts and your feelings about the day you had, about a certain topic. Doesn't really matter. So here it says, today was the worst day ever. I fell down the stairs, oh no, in front of my crush. I feel so sorry for you. I feel absolutely mortified. Look at the good vocabulary that's used. She didn't even know that I existed. Well, she does now. I hope that someone else does something silly tomorrow so that I will be yesterday's news. Now, I can totally relate to this person. I've also tripped and fallen in front of many students. It was a very embarrassing day. And I had, I think, 3 reactions from kids who were nearby when I fell. I had all these books in my hands. One learner looked at me and said, "Oh no, shame, ma'am, can I help you?" Very sweet child. The next learner held their mouth in shock. And the third learner held their mouth because they were laughing so much and they were pointing at me. So I can relate. But it's so nice to write and express your feelings and get it out. So no one's going to read this. It's just your journal. It's just for you to express how you feel, so that your emotions don't get bottled up and then you explode one day. You don't end off with goodbye or I'll see you tomorrow, because your diary is a book. It's a piece of paper. It's an object. So you can't talk to it. So just be careful of that. What I tell my learners normally, try end off with something to look forward to in the future. So I hope tomorrow will be a better day, something like that. Or I hope that my crush doesn't think that I'm embarrassing or whatever. Here's just a small example, a tiny example. Dear Diary, I hate school. I hope that you guys don't hate school, but I can understand that many days, or some days, we all have a bad day and we just hate something. But then we write it down, we get over it. The next day, we move on. Hopefully the next one will be good. Here's the rubric that I was referring to earlier. So we have 3 categories. The first one is correctness of format and appropriate length. So it's important that you adhere to the word count and that you also do the correct format. Correct structure, tone, style, register, spelling and punctuation, and use of language. So it's important, the register and the style and the tone. If you're talking to your mom, it has to be realistic, especially in the dialogue. I see so many learners who are very buddy-buddy or quite disrespectful, and that's not normal. Your tone is going to be different. So your friend and your mom are going to be a different tone. Then adherence to topic. So did you interpret the topic correctly? If they're asking you to argue about a cell phone contract with your parent, and you go off on another tangent about maybe getting a laptop, that's not the right topic. So always make sure you're doing the right topic. So here we have 10 to 8. So we want to land up in this category. So we want to get all of these done. Right, grade 8s, I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like me to do something specific that you're struggling with or that you enjoy. Please email WorksheetCloud. That would be great. And then we always do our motivation, and this is by Nelson Mandela. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. So dream big. Go for it. Thanks again for watching. This lesson was brought to you by WorksheetCloud. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you tomorrow.